Oh, hello. I'm live here. And now it's working. So great. Um, no microphone today, no shirt. Think that might have been what's messing up the streams. It's me being having a shirt on. So thank you for watching this, I guess. Liking, subscribing, and all that good stuff, AD Nightly. And I'm sorry if you were watching our last show, our last stream, or we're trying to, and it was just me like putting the tub in frame. I guess I had bad Wi-Fi and connectivity issues, so trying to make sure that doesn't happen again. Might buck up on the internet package here, and then we'll all be happy and great, working nicely. So yes, but yeah, it's been a while since I've done a show. AD Nightly, still the nightly show, the daily show that you get the news stories that you may not have heard of, aren't getting a lot of attention out there. And if you watch, sometimes they'll be topless or in a tub, flexing for you, whatever, whatever Ben's doing on a day. And maybe I'll even do the show from my phone sometimes, which is fun. I've got a bunch of stories. Man, that episode was full of good nuggets, I feel like, and it just didn't get totally put out there. There was a lot of good stuff in that episode. A big one that I was thinking about deserved to be said on my show was how it was a big discussion about there's the two stories. One of the superintendent from Minnesota who got caught with a gun and cash in his car and then abandoned his car because he probably feared for his life, I was thinking. And then also a story about how the FBI knew about this school shooter months before he school shot something, and were, I guess, just unable to facilitate the Second Amendment and uh, the Second Amendment and the Patriot Act in the same, like how they should be utilized. Man, my gynecomastia is really throwing me off. It's not that bad. My pecs are pretty solid. TBH, they're hard. They're hard up here. Hard where it counts. So I should work out more. I guess don't look in the mirror as you're talking about the Second Amendment being tied to the Patriot Act, which I believe it should be. But that was the main point of that, and also those stories which need to be talked about. I'm sure there's updates on those too. Superintendent who was an Olympic athlete and lost his job because he had a gun and he was a hunter. Weird, and yeah, it seems a little Cosby-ly to me. Which is to say, who maybe he was doing bad stuff. Who knows? But I don't. So give some attention to that. And then another huge story that's being overlooked and deserves a lot more attention. This is from theguardian.com. Epstein accuser Virginia Guffrey's memoir to be published posthumously. The posthumous memoir of Virginia Guffrey, one of Jeffrey Epstein's most prominent accusers, will be published in the autumn, and a publisher has announced Guffrey has been working on Nobody's Girl, a memoir of surviving abuse and fighting for justice. The award-winning author and journalist Amy Wallace before her death earlier this year. The 400-page book will be released on the 21st of October, so coming up. According to the Associated Press, Giffrey, who alleged she had been trafficked for sex to Prince Andrew, had completed the manuscript before she took her own life in April. The publisher Alfred A. Knopf said, he said that, they said that, I guess. I'm sorry the way this article is written. Again, if you'd like to read the whole article, theguardian.com. And, it's tough because it's just so sad that, she lost her life one way or another. No one's I guess 100% sure. It's so sad in these times where you just can't believe everything you hear. Um, and someone who is at the center of such a controversial issue, it's kind of hard to believe that there wasn't some sort of blame to be put somewhere or even foul play. So it's the world we live in. Talked about this a lot when it comes to the Charlie Kirk thing too. And yeah, it's I think it's important to be realists. And this, if anything, deserves attention. It's this story, this lady, and her book that it um, should be in schools. It should be on reading lists, book clubs, and I don't think there's anything more important happening right now than this. And we're trying to get the files released with after the government shutdown thing. So see how that goes. Lost to legend, Jane Goodall, legendary chimp expert, dead at 91. Groundbreaking chimpanzee researcher Jane Goodall died in the institute bearing her name said this last Wednesday, a week ago. She was 91 years old. The Jane Goodall Institute has learned that morning. Yeah, yada, yada. Um, Dr. Goodall's discoveries as an ethologist revolutionized science, and she was a tireless advocate for the protection of restoration of our natural world, the Post said. Her legacy dates back to 1960 when she first traveled to Tanzania at 26 to study chimpanzees. Through her years of research, she was often depicted crouching in trees, notebook in hand, watching primates through her binoculars. The sort of immersion into the animal's natural environment was at the time unorthodox approach to field research, the Jane Goodall Institute explains. And overall, I mean, just one of those people who lived life to the fullest, was out touring at 91 years old when she passed away. And just an example to everybody forever about how cool to be, how possibly cool you could be. And yeah, just overall caring about the earth and what's going on. It's a good thing. Always a good thing. Um, it's ridiculous what's going on as far as people just denying. And I saw something where at a zoo they took down the carbon emissions section that was put up, and it's like, okay, just deny it, and then people are going to put that back. So it's overall just a huge waste of money, and it's dumb. And then here, let's see, just something I also believe deserves some attention. I haven't seen this anywhere. I haven't heard about it. It's kind of fucked up. This is the a U.S. basketball player is facing execution in Indonesia over $400 worth of gummies. Unlike his fellow basketball player Brittany Griner, Jared Shaw has received scant attention for being arrested for drugs offenses overseas. So, I talked about the Brittany Griner thing pretty much since the day that it happened, and a lot of people were not talking about it on my News for You feature. Now here, uh, it's kind of the same amount of attention for Jared Shaw, maybe less. So yeah, bring that up a little more. I think he represents everybody, and as an American, this it's asinine that someone would be in this much trouble over something so harmless. When Jared Shaw, an American basketball player in Indonesia, stepped down to the lobby of his apartment complex earlier this year to collect a package containing illegally imported cannabis gummies, he thought that the medicine to ease his Crohn's disease had arrived. It had, but so too had 10 undercover police officers. Video on social media shows wearing a black t-shirt and shorts, shouting for help as the swarm of officers moved to apprehend him. The 35-year-old from Dallas, Texas, is facing the possibility of the death penalty or a long spell behind bars He was a key member of the Para Bandung, who won the Indonesian basketball title, the IBL, in 2023, and he scored more than 1,000 points over 3 seasons in the country, but now he's languishing in pretrial detention and is banned for life from the IBL. I use cannabis as medicine, he told the Guardian over the phone from a prison just outside Indonesia's capital, Jakarta. In his first comments to the press since his May arrest, he said, quote, "I have an inflammatory condition called Crohn's disease that's incurable. There's no medicine apart from cannabis that stops my stomach from aching." So, like, come on. It's really unfortunate that we're in such an environment where this kind of thing needs to be like they had to do a sting operation to like send a bunch of people to kidnap this guy because he's taking gummies. Who's he gonna hurt taking gummies? Come on. It's fucking insane. It's like when your friends have crazy parents and they try to like catch you up in some shit. You're like, no, man, you can't get me in trouble. My parents are cool or whatever. I don't know. Maybe you have crazy parents. Try to narc on you. I don't know. It's the worst. Everything sucks. This is terrible. And yeah, Jared Shaw. Post about him, talk about him. Jared Shaw. That's crazy. More attention for that. Why? Why is this happening? Okay. I'm going to do 2 more stories. This one's from techdirt.com. Ted Cruz kills America's latest attempt to have functional privacy laws. Thanks, Ted. This week, Senator Ron Wyden, one of the few U.S. senators who takes public and consumer privacy seriously, attempted to pass 2 bills that would have expanded privacy laws that currently only apply to government employees. S-2850, or Protecting Americans from Doxing and Political Violence Act, would have extended restrictions on the sale of government officials' location and behavior data to all Americans. Meanwhile, S-2851 would have extended privacy protections for federal officials and lawmakers to state officials and their staff, in addition to survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault. Members of Congress should not receive special treatment, Wyden said of the effort. Our constituents deserve protection from violence, stalking, and other criminal threats. Senator Ted Cruz, fresh off his efforts to take free Wi-Fi from school kids, managed to scuttle both efforts, falsely claiming the legislative updates would have stopped sex offender registries from existing. Quote, Cruz was the sole objecting senator who claimed without evidence that Wyden's bill could disrupt law enforcement, such as knowing where sexual predators are living. A survey from U.S. News and World Report last year found 84% of public across partisan ideologies wants Congress to pass tougher privacy laws, but as we've noted repeatedly, our broken oligarchy is too corrupt to function, which has prevented us from passing even basic internet era privacy protections or regulating dodgy data brokers who track your every click and movement. Read the rest of this at techdirt.com entitled Ted Cruz Kills America's Latest Attempt to Have Functional Privacy Laws. And I think back full circle to maybe tie that Second Amendment to the privacy thing. You know, if you really want that Second Amendment right, which we all, do. I fucking love a good firearm at the range. It's fun. It's like fireworks, and obviously when it comes to protection, that's a thing too. Security. There's great arguments and statistics about having guns in households, and I definitely agree with those as far as be a safe gun owner. I think that should be more mandated, that you have proper training and safety, and if you have kids in the house especially, keep those things locked up, and the little gun trigger blocker things, all that stuff. Have a plan. It really comes down to that. But again, when it relates to privacy, it makes a lot of sense to me to kind of tie those two things together. Second Amendment, Patriot Act. Want to be a patriot. the right way, I guess, and all that stuff. But again, it's no surprise that Ted Cruz is the one person who doesn't want something that everybody else wants to get passed because of I'm sure some type of lobbying effort. If somebody doesn't want it, it's not necessarily that he doesn't want it. His bosses just say that he can't go with the flow. He's got to be the uh, disruptor, and it wouldn't surprise me that other people are kind of on that. Not having privacy laws in effect bandwagon too, but let Mr. Cruz play the scapegoat that he's been playing for 20 fucking years. And it's annoying. But that's why you're listening to AD Nightly right here. 15 minutes of show so far, and I'm going to go watch the Cubs game, but before I've got this awesome article from AP News which yeah, it's going to be a lot of this moving forward. Jury awards more than $2 million to protesters shot in the face with non-lethal projectile. The jury has awarded at least $2.2 million to a protester who was shot in the face with less lethal munitions by Los Angeles Sheriff's deputy during a demonstration against police brutality in 2020. In a verdict last week, the jury found LA County liable for the injuries sustained by the man Kellen Gluck, and determined that he had suffered $3.5 million in damages. They also awarded his daughter, who was there with him that day, an additional $300,000 for emotional distress. So yeah, obviously the ICE campaign is going throughout Chicago, seeing a bunch of terrible stuff. Hate to see that in my hometown. Just gangs of people with no due process, kidnapping people, and of course keeping their faces covered. So disgusting. Thankful for all the people out there in the places with the cameras and fighting the good fight, and peacefully being cool. And yeah, it's just it's terrible. But you're gonna see a lot of, like, if you're in that position where you're protesting, or if you're on the other side and you decide to abuse your power, then this is what's going to happen. And I hope people are personally held accountable for their actions, and it's not some burden on, of course it will be a financial burden on all the municipalities that have to deal with these um, payouts and all that stuff. So that's like the straight business aspect of it. But above that, like, people deserve to be held criminally liable for shooting people in the face with beanbags. I don't think that's cool. I saw earlier in Chicago, a priest got shot in the head with a beanbag, or a rubber bullet kisses. Disgusting. There's really just no reason. It's just chaos for chaos sake. Oh wait, yeah, there is a reason. Coming back to that first story, and releasing those Epstein files. Yeah, so just again wrap up with the Epstein accuser, Virginia Giuffre's memoir, which is to be published posthumously, entitled Nobody's Girl. Yeah. Also, I hear that we're being told to pray for Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton is not feeling her best, and we need her to be. So all good and well wishes, Parton fam, and everybody else out there. Have a good day. Go Cubs.